International Women's Day, as all of you know, is an important day here at Burke's. And it's been a program that we have done for a long time because it's a day that we do it every day here at Burke's, where we celebrate women, where we celebrate the power of females. And my bracelet that I wear every day is the future is female, right? It's all about educating, encouraging, empowering girls. So it's a day we celebrate women who have made economic, political, and social contributions to our society and the world around us. And Mayor London Breed certainly meets those criteria. Truly extraordinary to have her here. She is the 45th mayor of the city of San Francisco and the first African American woman to be mayor in this city's history. A native of San Francisco, Mayor London Breed is working to create a more equitable and just San Francisco for all. Since becoming mayor, she has been focused on helping the city's homeless population into care and shelter, making San Francisco more affordable, ensuring that all San Franciscans have access to a thriving economy, and to making San Francisco a cleaner and safer city. She is a leader, she is a force, and we are honored and thrilled to have her here. Please join me in welcoming her to the board.
That Ms. Williams will give me a tardy slip. And excuse me for being a little bit late, but the reason why I'm wearing this is because I have been selected as the Grand Marshal for the St. Patrick's Day Parade in San Francisco. And it is a real honor. In San Francisco, we have an incredible, rich history with our Irish community. And how many of you love drinking water out of the faucet? I mean, I do. It's the best water anywhere. Well, an incredible, famous Irishman, Michael O'Shaughnessy, is the one who basically created this incredible engineering marvel that we call the Hetch Hetchy Dam, where the water comes from for San Francisco. And so it's an honor to serve as the Grand Marshal for the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And the first mayor, John Gary, the first mayor of the city and county of San Francisco, was an Irishman. His name was John Gary. So I know we're here to talk about women because we're celebrating International Women's Month or year or whatever we want to call it today here in San Francisco and throughout the world. And you know, it is a real honor to be here with all of you because you all are incredible women. You're phenomenal women. And I know because of the education that you're going to get here and the support that you get from your family and your friends, you are all going to go on to do great and extraordinary things. Now, I got to tell you, when I was your age, I never thought that being mayor was possible for me. I never knew what the future held for me. I grew up in poverty in San Francisco. My grandmother, she actually raised me. And I was really lucky because my grandmother was hardworking and she was also loving. And she taught me right from wrong and she wanted me to do well in school so that I can be successful in life. And because of my grandmother and because of so many incredible teachers that I had and because of so many great programs that existed in my neighborhood, I was able to go to college. And the challenges that there were other young people, young kids just like you, who were not living in some of the best of circumstances. And so I worked really hard to get actively engaged in the community. And getting actively engaged meant volunteering. It also meant doing something good for someone other than yourself. It meant how we create a community has everything to do with how we support one another, how we treat one another, and those are the kinds of values that were instilled in me and provided me with what I think is an incredible opportunity to lead one of the best cities in the world. And San Francisco, as an incredible city, has done so many extraordinary things, but we also know that there are so many challenges. We know that there are challenges with homelessness, and in fact, yesterday, you all would be excited to know that I was there to cut the ribbon on 83 new units for now formerly homeless families. People who had kids just like you, who were living on the streets, now have a safe, affordable place to call home. And the work is not done. We're just getting started on so many incredible opportunities like that. So when I was a teenager, I had this great opportunity to work for a program called the Family School. And I got paid, so I was really excited about that. And it's where I learned how to answer the phones. It's where I learned how to dress appropriately and work in a professional environment. And so as a result of my experience as a teenager, I decided to start what I believe is one of the best initiatives ever. And that is the Opportunities for All program. And what my commitment is to all of you and to really the next generation of young people growing up in San Francisco is to make sure that every high school student in San Francisco has access to a paid internship. Because I want to make sure that no child, no matter where they come from, no matter where they live, no matter their economic circumstances, I want to make sure that each and every one of you have an opportunity to succeed in life. And exposure to an internship at an early age exposes you to an incredible world. Whether it's the healthcare industry, the tech industry, being a teacher, being a principal, or even being mayor. I want to make sure that your future is bright in San Francisco. So my commitment is to continue to work hard, to advocate for incredible programs, to make sure that the future is bright, and who knows, one of you can even become mayor one day. Wouldn't that be great? So I am inspired and excited, and I know that all of you are here and you want to ask a ton of questions. So I want to leave time for that. But I want to thank you for inviting me here today to just share a few words. It feels incredible because I know that I have the opportunity to make history. And although I'm the first African-American woman to serve as mayor of San Francisco, my goal is to make sure that I am not the last. And providing opportunities for young people to succeed in life so that you can do and be anything you want to do and be in this world is something that is so important to me. Make sure that you reach for the stars, that you feel it in your heart, and that you focus on doing the best you can in school, the best you can in life, because if you want to be a scientist, if you want to be mayor, if you want to start your own company or be a musician, you can do it. Do we have a deal? You're going to do it? All right. So let's open up to the really tough questions that I know a lot of you have for me today. Thank you again, and let the questions begin.
Okay, I know that some of you have worked with teachers to be prepared to ask a question. So if you're one of those folks, if you can stand up, I'll come over to you and put up the microphone so you can be heard. All right.
What are your views on the fact that women get paid on average 75 cents on the dollar? What would you do to help change this inequality?
Well, first of all, you have to tell me your name and your grade.
I'm Julia Perkins and I'm in 5th grade.
Okay, Julia, you will be happy to know that as a woman mayor, and compared to all other mayors in the entire United States of America, I am the highest paid mayor. And I'm not going to be a woman. fact, we're doing them here in the city and county of San Francisco, is looking at ways in which we can remove biases in applications so that you look at the qualifications of someone rather than the gender or the race or sometimes even the name. And I think that part of what we have to do through policy is make the kinds of changes that really provide equal access to opportunity for women. But more importantly, when we are in positions and we want promotions or we want to basically move up a level, sometimes women are discouraged from applying, or sometimes when women are provided the opportunity for promotion, they may not receive the same pay, as you mentioned, as men. And my goal in working with some of our federal leaders, like Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, like Congresswoman Jackie Spear, these are women who are leading in Congress on pay equity. And what we have to continue to do is support them and do what we can do locally, because we need to make sure that we get there before you're in the workforce so that you don't have the same challenges that many of us have had in the workplace. So we are going to get there, and we continue to strive to make changes so that it is a more fair and equitable society for women especially. Thank you.
My name is Blair, and I'm in 4th grade. And my question for you is: when you were a little girl, did you know you wanted to be mayor, or did you want to be something else?
Thank you for your question, Blair. When I was like your age, really, I just wanted to play. I didn't know what I wanted to be. I just, I will say that because, as I told you before, I grew up in poverty, and so we didn't have much. And I just wanted to be able to take care of myself. And then as I got older, I started learning about, being a lawyer and other occupations, being a doctor, some of the things that we talked about in school. And ultimately, when I graduated from high school, I started college as a chemistry major. So I thought I was going to be a chemist. But I was a clumsy chemist. I'm still methylene chloride all over the lab, and some of my crystallizations didn't turn out the way that I hoped. But politics and the world of politics were just a little bit more attractive, and that's why I went into the political world. But I never knew it was possible, really. I felt like for someone like me growing up, in a very challenging environment, it was not something that I thought was ever possible. And that's why I'm so excited to be here today with all of you, because at your age, I want you to know that anything is possible. And I want you to reach for the stars. And that's really what's important, is thinking about what do you want to do, and doing whatever you feel is something that you really care about doing. So thank you for your question, Blair. The issue that I'm most passionate about is stopping homelessness here in San Francisco. It really breaks it really breaks my heart to see anyone sleeping on the streets. And let me tell you that since I've taken office, I am so proud that we've been able to house almost 1,000 people. And it has required a lot of creativity and a lot of support, more shelter beds, more housing, making the right investments, and doing what's necessary to really help people, and especially families and some of our senior community, into permanent, safe, affordable housing. I'm very passionate about addressing this issue. Again, I go back to my childhood, and I can't even imagine being in a situation where you're trying to do homework, but you don't have a dining room table, or even the lights are not even on where you can see what you're doing. So many young people are living in situations like that, and so I want to make sure that we address this issue in a swift manner, and it's what I'm most passionate about.
My name is Aubrey, and I'm in 3rd grade. Hi, my name is Kayla, and I'm in 3rd grade. And our question is, what inspired you to focus on affordable housing?
So what inspired me to focus on affordable housing? So as I mentioned earlier, I grew up in the Western Addition, and I actually lived in public housing. So I lived in public housing over 20 years of my life, and the conditions that I lived in were not the best conditions. We never had a shower. We had a number of challenges. There was a lot of violence. Sometimes the lights weren't working. Sometimes the water wasn't working. The heat was hardly ever working. And so some of the things that we may take for granted now are things that, unfortunately, I didn't have as a young person growing up in San Francisco. And so when I think about, my childhood, my goal is to make sure that no child ever has to live the way I had to live growing up in our city. And so focusing on not only building new affordable housing so that people have, again, safe, affordable places to call home, but also making sure that the conditions of some homes in some public housing units in our city are rehabilitated is also equally important. There is nothing like having a roof over your head, being able to go to school and come home to, a hot cooked meal. And I know that some of you might be used to that, but I want to tell you that you are so fortunate that you have families that take good care of you, because some people don't have families that take really good care of them. And making sure that we build more housing is so important, because also, when you become adults and you want to be able to live in San Francisco, I want to make sure that you can afford to live in San Francisco. So that's part of my mission, is to make sure that we not only create a great San Francisco for today, but we create a great San Francisco for your future, so that you have incredible opportunities. So that's why I'm really passionate about affordable housing and getting more housing built in San Francisco faster.
Who else is prepped? I'm Jacid, and I'm in 4th grade. My question for you is, what made you decide that you wanted to be mayor?
So I think what mostly made me decide to be mayor or run for mayor was because people told me that I couldn't win. And in fact, when I ran for supervisor before I ran for mayor, people told me I couldn't win. They told me not to do it. And I was determined to prove them wrong. Because, again, I think it's important to not let someone tell you what you can't do. And because you know inside what you can do. You know inside what kind of person you are. And I knew that I was a strong person. I knew that I had just as much experience and education and understanding of the city as anyone else who was running for mayor did. And so I stepped out on faith, and a lot of folks supported me, and here I am. I proved them wrong. And on top of that, it's incredible to make history and to remember that this is great, to break the kinds of barriers that get in the way of challenges that exist with ensuring that women are able to succeed. But with this incredible position, there comes an incredible responsibility to give back and to do for others as well, and to make sure, again, that each and every one of you has an opportunity to be successful and to thrive in San Francisco. So thank you so much for your question. All right. Thank you, ladies, for having me here today.
For her incredible remarks, so much for us to think about, but that call to service, that call to push back when someone tells you you can't do something, to push through it and do it. We are so honored and privileged to have had you here today. Thank you so much, Mayor Green.